I know people joke that TikTok is just the new Tumblr. However, I am genuinely surprised we made it to the cult stuff before we made it to the bone stealing stuff. That's it. That's my intro. Hey, I'm Amanda, you're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about cult stuff. And since we're talking about cult stuff, I have no idea if YouTube is going to allow this video to be monetized. So let me first, before we get started, thank the sponsors for this video, Tommy John. Between the pandemic and the fact that I am a YouTuber, I spend a lot of time by myself at home, and I spend a lot of time in loungewear. My favorite type of loungewear is the type where it's kind of been washed maybe a couple of times. You know, it's got that nice vintage t-shirt feel. However, when I buy new loungewear, it never quite has that softness. But that is absolutely not the case with Tommy John. Here's me modeling my Tommy John loungewear while standing on top of my bed because I paid for it. If I want to stand on it, I will. What I love about Tommy John's is everything is super comfortable, and even better, everything has pockets. I personally like to mix and match my loungewear usually, so I don't have to think about it, but I also do occasionally love a matching set. For size references, I am wearing a small tops and medium bottoms. Tommy John's mix and match sets are perfect for lounging at home, but also staying just simple enough so that you can make it to your casual Zoom meetings. Try Tommy John today. Go ahead and click the link in my description box, use code SWELL, and get up to 20% off your order plus free shipping. Thank you again to Tommy John for sponsoring this video. So first and foremost with the cold stuff, I always get asked if the pandemic has affected my content or if I would do things differently if there weren't a pandemic. And yes, this video would be completely different if there was not a pandemic. For example, I would be going to this cult. I would go for a video. This is a do as I say, not as I do type of thing. I call it the I try it so you don't have to series for a reason. I am nosy by nature and I am not above putting my own safety at risk for content. Before quarantine started and everything got shut down, I was literally a day away from buying my ticket to go to a different cult thing for a video. So yes, if there was not a pandemic, this video would be very different and I would be taking a wholly different approach to this video. However, it's not just my safety that I would be putting at risk if I were to go at this time. I don't have to tell you, we are in a pandemic. I cannot justify the risk of getting on a plane, going around a group of people, a few of which we know are confirmed to be anti-maskers, and then get back on a plane. I just can't justify the risk, and I am not willing to be responsible for putting a plane full of people or anyone else in my life at risk, just for the sake of this video and investigating a cult. Now that being said, just because I would be willing to go to a cult to do an investigation on it, let me make something abundantly clear. Do not go here. A lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about and showing here has their address on it, and I'm going to be blocking it out for all of these clips that I show you. I will not be sharing this address. I don't want you to go here. Please do not put your safety at risk by going there. And the reality of it is as well, is that this place is located not far from a sundown town. Do not go here. Do not go to this communal living space. Do not go to the garden. Let me start by explaining what an intentional community or a commune is. Definition of commune is a group of people living together and sharing possessions and responsibilities. Communes and intentional communities are not in their existence cults, okay? Not every single commune is a cult. They may have some stuff you may not be into, but they're not all cults. I became aware of the garden on TikTok because I ended up on the side of TikTok that was like, does everyone have the cult that consumed a cat on their TikTok? Is everyone else getting that on their For You pages? So I was very confused and very horrified. So I was like, okay, what is going on? So a lot of the information I'm sharing with you, I found from the Garden's Facebook page. However, a lot of the information I'm also going to be sharing is from Milo or the Dirty Human Twunk on TikTok. I will be linking his account below in the description box as well. And so while I start talking about the cult-like tendencies of the Garden and just how unsettling it all is, let me first start off by saying that I don't think it started out as a cult, or it could possibly not currently be a cult, but be very close to moving towards cult territory. So the Garden was actually founded something like over 10 years ago and was originally called Shut Up and Grow It. And the original founder and owner of the land, Patrick, actually never spends more than like 6 months at a time there or whatever, but that's part of the problem that I'm going to be talking about a little bit here and there. But it seems like for the most part, for the last 10 years, the Garden has just been like a mildly successful commune. The thing about this commune is that it just kind of encourages people to come and go, which is part of the problem with the TikTok element of it all. There doesn't seem to be anyone who has been there for more than a couple of months, or people who stay there for longer than a couple of months at a time. The Garden, formerly known as Shut Up and Grow It, is an egalitarian, alternative, leaderless, leaderful community propagating a culture of sharing, freedom, and cooperation. The Garden's main purpose is not to be a solitary community, but rather to be a part of a network of mutual aid and a hub where traveling people and caravan communities can collaborate at. It is important for us to grow seeds to be spread and sown in other communities. There are a couple of different commune setups on TikTok, especially at the start of the pandemic. It was not uncommon for people to start posting about how, oh, we all dropped out of school, or we all stopped staying in the dorms and we bought land and now we're all living together in this commune. Commune coverage is not uncommon on TikTok. However, a few weeks ago, The Garden, and specifically 2 of the members or residents of The Garden, started gaining traction on TikTok. Specifically, the 2 people I would say are the main dispersers of the content on The Garden, or the main spokespeople for The Garden, are Rel and Tree. Rel is also mentioned heavily in the Facebook page here and there. For example, at one point someone asked, I have a question regarding COVID. Are you letting people come who haven't been tested, or do they have to self-quarantine if they haven't? Thank you. And Rel replied, we don't have any regulations regarding COVID at this time. People are welcome to quarantine if they feel they need to do so, but we have not had any issues with it here. Again, it's very hard to tell specifically who is there, when, and for how long they've been there. Rel definitely seems to be a more permanent fixture of The Garden. Tree definitely has only been there for a couple of months, and if you go through his TikTok, you'll see that he seems to split his time between The Garden, and then there was at least a 2-week span of time where he was at a different commune in Costa Rica. The thing with both Tree and Rel's account is that I would say at least a good third of all of the TikToks on their pages are them saying that they are not a cult. And Rel in particular says that the reason that people on TikTok think they are a cult is because Gen Z is a bunch of babies, essentially. If it was clear you weren't a cult, you probably wouldn't have to say that you weren't a cult. Just say. For example, from this TikTok from February, Tree is saying their mission statement proves that they are not a cult.
Does this sound like a cult? Provide land to individuals, families, and travelers to learn, teach, and experiment in a variety of sustainable and self-sufficient living skills. A place where those that want to help others can themselves prosper through profit share in a community that provides a more wholesome and earth-friendly alternative lifestyle. Establish a network of these similar, like-minded communities across the country and beyond, which functions as a way station for those travelers, as well as hubs of learning and empowerment for a sustainable future.
The thing about Tree versus Rel seems to have some type of at least established role. Like she seems to be doing stuff, okay? But Tree, I'm fairly certain, does nothing. For the most part, he seems to have become an unofficial spokesperson for The Garden. His TikToks, again, are getting a lot of traction. He seems to be going around showing everything that everyone is doing, interviewing people. Also, side note, he posted this video where he just went up to a bunch of people in the community and asked if it was a cult, and some of their reactions are...
Let's ask everyone if we live in a cult. Jeff, do we live in a cult?
No.
Julia, do we live in a cult?
I don't think so.
Do we live in a cult? Do we? Alright, she's not telling. John, do we live in a cult?
Hell no.
Carl, do we live in a cult?
No. It's a community.
Problem with this community right off the bat is that they seem to think that their best way to be a community is to have an open door and let people come in and out, to the point that they publicize their address, to the point of turning it into a hashtag and putting it on all of their videos. They are not just publishing their address, they are actively encouraging people and people on TikTok and kids to come to their commune. That is not a normal thing, okay? There was another account on here from someone who actually went to school for anthropology and talks about how, especially if it was a community, a commune, a co-op, or an intentional living situation where it's supposedly safe enough for kids to live and be there, there's not just an open door policy. There is a vetting process. You fill out an application, especially because you don't know who you are inviting into your space, especially when you were trying to make a sustainable community. I mean, there are certain types of people who just aren't going to do well in that environment. And that's just the reality of the situation. What makes you think that everyone coming into that situation is going to just be open to building stuff, farming, okay, cooking for everyone? Not everyone has those types of skills to be able to function and help sustain your sustainable community. Another reason I wanted to make this video is because people are actually going to this commune. People are going. Tree keeps posting about different TikTokers that are going there, filming them.
There's a lot of you guys who have came here from TikTok. Seems like they already lost their mind.
People are going. People from TikTok are going. This is a recruitment tactic and it's freaking working. If another cult documentary is like, I didn't know it was a cult, I always thought I could never get sucked into a cult. Clearly, we're all a bunch of idiots because people are going. People are going to this commune. People are going to this cult. Yeah, I like what this is about. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to come check it out. I get it. It sounds appealing, okay, to just log off and freaking go out there. Please do not go, okay? Again, especially, this is not a safe part of Tennessee to go to. I am not saying that all of Tennessee is bad. Please do not think I am saying that all of Tennessee is bad. I am saying that it's probably not a good idea to go to this portion, this area of Tennessee where the garden is located, okay? So the reason I bring up Tree seeming to be not really doing much, becoming the unofficial spokesperson of the garden, and also him seeming to be fairly new to the garden, is because that's some cult behavior. That's concerning. The problem with certain things like the garden, with them having a type of setup where it seems to kind of constantly be rotating the amount of people that are there and who is there, since most people, especially the owner of the land, isn't there full time, okay? It kind of leads to like a really weird setup of the power structure because they try to say there's no leadership. But it's really easy for someone who's charismatic to slide in there and take your communal, sustainable living space and turn it into a cult. Maybe the garden was more closed off and wasn't super culty a couple of months ago. However, the TikTok presence, especially Tree's TikTok presence, and now Rel's TikTok presence as well. We'll talk about her in a second. It's very alarming, and him seeming to have almost like a spokesperson role is concerning. I know it may seem when there is a community living space, okay, and one of your core values of your living space is to not have leadership roles, you may think that, oh, no one's gonna come in and be a leader. I don't think that's really true. I think that there are certain people who can see lack of leadership or can at least slide their way in there, who are schmoozers, who are charming, who can talk their way around anything and can kind of, at the very least, through social media, set themselves up as a leader, elder in your community, a spokesperson for your community. Tree may not be a cult leader, but he is exhibiting cult leader behavior. Before I move on to talking about Rel, I don't want to spend a long time talking about this because I don't think it's a good idea to, but I also think it's important because I know that some of you would still try and go here because I know you guys. You're my audience. I know you guys. Some of you would try and go. There is at least 2 people, I believe, who have allegations and or arrest records for domestic assault that are currently confirmed to be at the garden. And one of them does have a warrant out for his arrest in another state. Again, they keep trying to say that this place is family friendly. Bring the kids. We have a school. We have this. We have that. And then you are not vetting anyone. There's no application process. You have an open door policy. Anyone can come at any time and anyone can go at any time. It's just not safe for anyone, let alone children. Real quick, just in case anyone else notices this in this clip right here, there is a woman on the stage here dancing, doing some type of lyrical performance, who looks very similar to Unicole Unicron, the founder and leader of Unicult. However, I know that Unicole Unicron has had short hair for close to a year now, so it's definitely not them. Partially unrelated side note, I met Unicole Unicron at Alien Stock in 2019. Let's talk about Rel. Most of Rel's activity is about how they are not a cult. She also goes around and spends a lot of time interviewing other members of the Garden. Ever since people started calling them a cult, she has made, I believe, 2 videos at the bare minimum, making Kool-Aid jokes. Like having a jug says Kool-Aid and having everyone pass it around and drink it. The main thing that I saw some people on TikTok talking about is that Rel has made numerous references to Babylon, which is a religious reference to society, I believe. I'm a former Catholic, so someone's gonna get mad at me for getting this wrong, but in Christian scriptures, Babylon is portrayed as a wicked city. And I believe now in cult context, Babylon is often used to reference society, as in society is being wicked. Rel actually has multiple TikToks talking about how Babylon is crumbling, leave Babylon, come to the Garden, kind of doomsday, you know, like just a little culty. Cult tactic is to involve a perceived doomsday that's coming, you know, like just leave Babylon, come join us, and we will be able to make it through this doomsday because Babylon is crumbling. I don't think referring to society as Babylon and leaving Babylon has really anything to do with sustainable living on a commune in Tennessee. Rel has spoken multiple times about how she thinks that the internet is bad and it's pulling society further away from its roots and things like that. But she loves TikTok because they have had something like 30 people come from them being on TikTok. So if anyone says, you don't have to worry about people going, no one's actually gonna go. They already are. People are going. Do not go. Don't be one of them. Whether you think it's a cult or not, the repeated Kool-Aid jokes are not funny. It's a mass murder that they're referencing. It's not funny. It's not quirky. It's bad, especially when there's actual concern over the people in your community and whether or not they are safe to be there, since you are, you know, just welcoming anyone. No background checks, no referral process. Oh, I'm sorry, I should correct myself. They do have a vetting process. I totally forgot about this. Rel is going to tell us about their vetting process. Some people were saying, why are you just putting your address out there? Like, aren't you concerned about the type of people that might come by? You know, you guys are, you know, a closed community. You're a sustainable community. Don't you want people who are only going to come, who are going to add to your community and help make things more sustainable?
So there's a lot of people wondering why we're putting our address up on the internet, like why we're inviting everybody. Like, aren't you guys afraid? Like, don't you do background checks? And the truth is that we've been doing this for 12 years at the Garden, and we've always had an open door, and we have natural intuition, and our human instinct tells us when somebody is not okay.
They have natural intuition. They have vibe checks. That's how they know. They trust their intuition. They trust their instinct. Well, guess what? My instinct is that this is suspicious as hell. And my instinct is that no one should go to the freaking Garden. It's concerning. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys the warning now because we're gonna talk about the cat stuff. And then we're gonna talk about the dog skirt very briefly. The cat thing is that allegedly there was a cat. It attacked a chicken or killed another animal or something. And so their belief, and this was confirmed in the live that Tree did, where he was getting pissed off that people were criticizing them, their belief is that they killed the animal that killed the other animal. And so they don't waste anything because they're a sustainable society. They killed the cat and then ate the cat.
Fucking animal kills your other animals, you kill that animal.
Because we don't waste, we ate it.
And because we don't waste, whoever was here at that point in time ate that cat.
Yes, they ate a cat. It has been confirmed by all of them. And then in a Facebook post, it looks like Rel then skinned the cat and made it into some type of hat. I'm sure someone in the comment section is going to try and defend that. I'm sure someone is going to try and compare it to eating any meat whatsoever. And, you know, you have every right to make that distinction. I don't think this is okay. In a different video that Rel made, she made a video with like a high-pitched voice where she's petting what I thought was a dog at first. Like I thought like a whole dog was like pressed up against her chest, but no, apparently she had a dog. It got hit by a car, and so she then skinned her dog because she loved the dog so much and made it into a skirt. I'm gonna move on because I hate discussing this. I don't like talking about this element of things. It makes me uncomfortable. So before I end this off with some clips from Quentin talking about his time at the Garden as a former person living there, he does believe it's a cult. But before I talk about that, I do want to provide the counter argument that all of this could be, which is documentary. And that's Tree's whole goal, is that he is building onto the cult-like behavior and the cult-like mentality and kind of hyping it up through TikTok because there's talk of a possible Vice documentary about the Garden being made, and it's juicier if it's more of a cult and creepier if it's a cult, or more likely to happen even if it's a cult. I would be able to respect the hustle if people weren't actually going to this fucking cult. Tree's involvement and Tree's coverage of the Garden just be all exaggerated to kind of build up hype for a documentary. Possibly. However, the Babylon stuff that Rel is talking about, and also the legitimate proof that there are people there that have, you know, arrest records for assault and, you know, warrants out for their arrest, concerning. And people are actually still going. Like, this is, it's working. But God, please don't go to this please don't go. This is from Quentin. He was a member of the Garden, or at least stayed there for 3 weeks.
Hello, my name is Quentin. I'm confirming to all of you that the Garden in Lafayette, Tennessee is indeed a cult. I met Patrick, I met Rel, I met all of them. They're all cultists. They're all terrible people. It's, you know, because they're COVID-19 deniers. They support the concept of genocide because it's population control to them, and it's not a good place. Stay away. Don't go there. I really regret going there.
He was there for 3 weeks last year. He said that he met Rel and Patrick. He does not mention Tree, but again, Tree has only seemingly been there for a few months, so he may not have even been there at the time that Quentin was there. Quentin goes on to say that they are COVID deniers. They are supporters of genocide and see it as a form of population control. Quentin also shows a few photos from his time at the Garden as a means of proving that he was there. Oh, I have a screenshot now here of proof that Patrick, the owner of the land and definite member of the Garden, talked about the cat on Facebook. So Quentin also shared some photos or screenshots of groups on Facebook talking about the Garden and things, and he said that what's very common is that people come to the community thinking they have an open door, put their time and energy into adding to the community, thinking that they are building a home for themselves in this community, and then they get kicked out. So they contribute to the sustainable living situation thinking that they are in, and then get kicked out. I believe it was Tree who said that they have a 2-week period where you can stay, and then if you want to stay for longer than 2 weeks, that is when there is a vote done or something, or the vibe check is committed, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. I will say this, there has been a couple other people on TikTok who are at least living at the Garden or members of their sustainable community. And a lot of them have been kind of stepping back from TikTok, considering TikTok has decided, specifically Gen Z TikTok, has decided that they are going to take down this cult and try to prevent as many people from going as possible. I mean, they've already doxed themselves, so I don't know what else can really be done. If you find the address to this place, please do not go. I really can't stress that enough. Please do not go to the Garden. If you do want to go and join a commune, I am sure there are far other lovely ones that you can go and join. Okay? That you can apply for, okay? You submit an application, they'll do a background check, and then maybe they'll let you in. Go find a co-op somewhere else. Don't go join the garden. It's creepy as hell. Don't join a cult if you find one. If you look at a situation, you're like, this seems culty. It's a white woman with dreads. Seems a little off. Don't go. Don't join. Don't do it. So that's going to be it. Are you on TikTok? Did you make it onto cult TikTok? Did you make it onto anti-cult TikTok? Because that's what I ended up on. Have you heard of the garden? Have you heard of the garden previously? Have you known anyone who has been to the garden? Let me know. Comment down below. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd also like to support me on Patreon, that'll be listed down below. If you'd like to follow me on all my social media, that'll be all up here. And that's going to be it. Have a lovely day. Don't join a cult. Goodbye. If you're not a cult, you shouldn't have to routinely say you were not a cult. Thank you, Elaine, Allie, Alan, Elise, Alex, Brayton, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Cody, Colton, Crush, PC, Destiny, Driven, Dirty One, Dawn, Elliot, Essen, Evan, Feckles, Hollow, Jack, Ray, Jaco, Joe, John M, Jordan, Joseph, Kenny, Kevin, Kim, Kristen, Lex, Lisa, Louise, Manga, Matt O, Matthew S, Milo the Red, Michael, Mike, James, Nathaniel, Pat, Palak, Rob, Robbie, Robert, Ross, Sam, Simon, Stephen, Tasha, Timothy, Tom, Murray, Rowan, Whitney, William, Zendry.